laugh at our like idea of like left wing and right wing.
Well, it's
They're, like,
American. The American
in
mainstream
Germany,
doesn't
like
have a
Bernie
left.
Sanders would be like center right or the centrist, I guess.
Oh, we don't have a left.
Yeah, we have like center right Democrats that are happy to take that term, like they're happy to be called that because then they feel like they've got a foothold on the left.
Yeah, they feel like
Just
they're
isn't the
smarter and better because the thing about centrists or Democrats or whoever the fuck they are is that they think they are so brainwashed that they think that they look smarter if they can sympathize with a Nazi more over a leftist. They would rather sympathize with a Nazi than like a Marxist, and they think that that literally makes them look smarter and more empathetic and more sensitive. It's insane.
Who's doing this? What Nazis are you talking about?
Democrats. That's like, you know, they're always like, well, what is Richard Spencer or someone like that? Like, we shouldn't punch someone like that. We don't want to make a far right winger, a 4chan guy mad, you know, because like we need to.
I agree with
across
that.
the aisle and think about the other side. Yeah, we don't want to make them mad, but like, you know what I mean. But then they're like,
No, but it's true. It's when after Trump was elected, when the New York Times was like, oh, we need to like diversify our op-ed section. We need to like be more inclusive of different viewpoints, and they just like brought on a bunch of like hard right freakazoids. But like obviously the diversity only goes in one direction. Like it only goes
that's a better
right.
example.
It only goes right. You didn't get like anyone remotely left of the right wing ass New York Times.
But again, like right wing is such an amorphous term to compare it to, you know, again to like Germany. Like if you walked up to a socially conservative, you know, old white German man who believes that the church should be involved in the state, who disagrees with abortion, he would just state very plainly and very obviously, of course I support universal health care. Of course I support universal education. Why wouldn't one support that? You know, like those concepts aren't married together as the flavors of politics are in the United States. Like those are very obvious ideas to conservatives throughout the world. They're essentially conservative ideas.
Yeah, but what you're saying is just also the same thing, which is pinpointing how baseline right wing our whole country is.
Yeah, and it's because we are poisoned against those ideas because it's like, well, we don't want handouts. We don't want to be given anything. We want to work, like, and people should work for what they get. When it's like, okay, well, where are the jobs? You know, like it's it's ridiculous.
Where's the money?
Yeah, like where.
Yeah, that's American cowboy.
It's
legend,
cowboy.
You know,
it's because we're cowboys. All of us,
cowboys.
even the biggest weenies think that they're cowboys.
But you're also not allowed to even be a cowboy.
You're not allowed to be a cowboy. It's
true. Like the whole bootstrap mythos of I'm going to get me a patch of land and just live off of it only exists in Alaska. That's the only place.
Can you do it in Maine?
I don't think so. I don't think there's any homesteading in Maine. Maybe Nebraska.
Yeah.
Or in the desert.
I think there's some like.
Nope.
Jordan's become frozen in time.
Oh wow. Jordan's been
Fully
in like a very in the
You know
bath posture this whole time.
I think she's thinking about her point very closely right now and considering her next words. So, you know, she had to like pause and concentrate.
Give her time. Oh, now she's like, oh, okay.
Oh.
Nope.
Hello.
Am I here?
Yes.
Am I here now?
Here you are.
I could just hear you guys talking about me.
It's like a bad Tales from the Crypt episode. My Zoom froze, and
None of them are bad.
It was just a low stakes Tales from the Crypt episode.
Hey, speaking of how none of the Tales from the Crypt are bad, has anybody watched Netflix's Fear Street series? Because it's wild.
Oh, I
Good.
heard about that. I'll watch it. I'll write it down somewhere. I
Yeah.
don't know where though.
It, I thought it was like period pieces.
It was.
Like, hey, this guy is gonna watch a VHS with his headband on.
It was like it was pretty direct references to actual movies.
Oh, so it's just
It
Stranger.
was like a block of 90s things, a block of 70s things, and then stuff that refers to 1660s things.
It's Stranger Things minus the stupid lore.
No, I think there's stupid lore in it.
Oh, well, I mean, minus Stranger Things is made up of like homages to movies done really well and lore that's just really unnecessary and bad.
Right, yeah. I mean, I guess there's also references to the Fear Street series of R.L. Stein books.
I thought that's what it was
Oh.
based on.
It is, but I don't know anything about that. So I only got how, like, oh, they're referring to Scream, and they're referring to Friday the 13th.
Did R.L. Stein make a Goosebumps for grown-ups?
I think so.
That's
I
what
think
this
that's what
is.
it
This is like Goosebumps, but there's breasts
They were for like
and horrible gore.
they weren't for adults. I think it was for like people in high school maybe or middle school. No, older kids, teens.
Yeah.
Or
I
else
think it was.
You
I think it was
definitely have to
older
be 18
kids.
to watch this show.
In my head, I see
Or else
R.L.
I'm coming
Stein.
to get you.
I see R.L.
Well, the show
Stein.
is for people our age who had the books and older kids. I feel like that's the.
I never heard of those books. Maybe I was too old.
Maybe a little before your time or after your time. Just like maybe like 2 years after your time. I bet.
Can I reveal to you that I always assumed that R.L. Stein was a pseudonym because it's kind of RSTLNE,
Mhm.
the most common letters in the English language, but it's a real man!
Mm.
I know, me too. I thought about that too. It seems like the fake name of a kid's horror writer.
Mm-hmm.
It just
But it's not. It's Jack
It's
Black.
not. He was born that way.
He was born that
He
way.
was born to do this, baby.
Okay. What happens next?
I think we're at Skilla coming in Chanel.
Yeah, Scylla is
One cool like little tidbit that Skilla drops is when she's talking about the lake, and she's like the whole lake is a terminal. I thought that was pretty cool. That was pretty wild to think about. I mean, a lake is kind of like a
Haven't we
glass
talked
in a
about
way.
that before?
Mhm.
Did we
Yeah,
talk
we
about
have.
that?
We vaguely
okay.
talked about it during book one. We were like, this will happen.
Yeah,
I think when we first, when we were talking about
Mukor.
whether or not the, possession is hard science or fantasy, Mukor's possession.
Oh yeah.
We were talking about how the lake is a glass,
and
but
the
now
gods.
we see the lake being a glass.
Yeah.
It's a
Well,
glass.
it's interesting to think about, like in like Baltimore or any other like seaport town, how like people are drawn towards the water. You know, it's just kind of an interesting thing to think about, how people like always want to build on the water and always want to do commerce in the water, and in a way, you know, Skilla is thinking about the lake like as a terminal that's like programming people. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Wait, but we
like
don't
Disney World.
Connor, you just said we see it.
Was that Jen?
You just said we see it used that way, but I don't think we see it used that way from the dimension.
I guess we don't. I guess Chenille is possessed by the screen in the shrine, not the lake itself. You're correct.
Although, remember when there was that weird kind of suggestion that people go up on the shrine to Skilla and get called into the lake, just go off the path? I kind of feel like that's a little like the lake is being the glass kind of going on there.
Yeah. Doesn't that happen to Silk on his way up? Doesn't he have a kind of odd... Oh, yeah, when he feels like throwing himself off the side of the cliff at some point. I think that might be Lake is glass.
Yeah, that's what I.
That she's just doing it for fun because she's a weirdo.
He likes to kill.
And it makes sense that like a glass that's regular sized does the holy hues and it's like does its job really well, but that a giant glass that you like can't really look directly at the whole thing would do some kind of vague primal thing like I gotta go in the lake. That makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I wonder if the fact that the submarine is under the lake inside of the terminal, basically, do you think it would have any power over the people inside the submarine? Probably not. But
I don't know.
I don't think that's.
What-
I feel like an argument
But
can be
what's-
made that the people in the submarine are definitely behaving in a Skyla-ish way.
but
For her city too.
Mm-hmm.
is that something she would want? Like, is their
I
plan
don't
something
know.
that would interest her? Because we don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
It does seem like they're very competitive, and so I could see it being like, well, this is my city, so it's got to be better than other people's, being a aspect of some of these gods.
Maybe it's not so much like there's a conscious effort on Scylla or Skyla's part to fuck with them, but just like her energy is surrounding them, so they're getting that like
Mm-hmm.
aggro.
Well,
Yeah.
and it's Skyla's anti-Pos, right? She's
Yes.
against Pos's plan. So the Ayuntamiento is also messing up the plan of Pos. Like they're not following the original charter. They got rid of the colony. So in that way, they're serving Skyla.
Oh,
Yeah.
Johan is connecting Skyla to the underwater women of New Sun, the Undines.
Oh yeah,
that's-
totally.
Yeah.
There's some evidence of an actual physical Skyla amongst them.
What are you talking about?
I can't cite chapter and verse, but I read a thing of someone talking about how there is a mention of a Skyla amongst the Undines someplace in New Sun.
That
Neat.
sounds like it was probably on
It
EarthNet.
also gets explicitly tied in Short Sun.
Oh,
Perhaps that's why I haven't read Short Sun in a while. I can't wait to
Okay,
do it.
I can see that. I was thinking about
Yeah,
that while reading
Scylla-
Short Sun.
Scylla
I don't think I've gotten
definitely
quite there
is
though.
in Short Sun, and that gets all tied in with the Undines and stuff. Now that
Scylla,
I've read Short Sun, I don't understand how we talk about any of these other books without talking about Short Sun.
it's been really weird. There's been a lot of points where I've had to just be like,